Welcome back to another episode of Power English on our channel. Today, we've got some fantastic expressions and idioms to explore, so let's dive right in. 1. Close-knit family. You know, the Johnsons are more than just a family. They are a close-knit family, bound together by strong family bonds. Through challenges, they always stand united, and growing up in such a close-knit environment provided Sarah with a solid foundation for her values. 2. Beat around the bush. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone just won't get straight to the point? We call that beating around the bush. It's like they're avoiding the main issue by talking about everything else. So, next time someone's not getting to the point, you can say, "Stop beating around the bush and tell me what's really on your mind." 3. What is someone getting at? Ever had that moment when someone says something, and you're left wondering, what are they getting at? It's a way to ask about the real meaning behind their words or actions. For example, "I don't understand your comments." What are you getting at? 4. You'll need to. Planning or suggesting something for the future? You might say, "You'll need to." It indicates a requirement or necessity for someone to do something. Before using the software, you'll need to download and install the latest updates. 5. Grumble. And finally, let's talk about grumbling. It's when people quietly complain about something. Maybe employees grumble about new policies, or customers grumble about poor service. It's that discontent expressed in a hushed tone. There's been a lot of grumbling among the employees. That wraps up today's Power English session. Until next time, happy learning.
Hey Cam, I haven't asked you.
Yeah.
How are you doing these days?
I'm doing good. Oh, I have a funny story.
What? Tell us.
So, you know Simba?
Yes.
My dog Simba.
Yes.
Ever since I've had him, he's had a really hard time eating.
Oh.
The food I give him.
What?
Like he doesn't eat a lot of it.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
he's not, yeah. And I
Really?
thought, he just doesn't eat a lot.
Oh wow.
That's not the case.
What?
Recently.
The food was not good.
No, it's not that. It's not
Okay.
the flavor.
Okay.
So recently, I started sprinkling his food with water. A considerable amount of water.
Okay.
Which, it's dry food, so I put water in it and,
Yeah.
mix it up.
Right.
Eats it up so well.
Oh.
Just like, blah, 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 blah.
He didn't want to crunch. He didn't want to chew the food.
I guess not. So I thought, that makes complete sense.
Oh, why?
Because he was found in the Korean countryside. And I'm basically making him 국밥.
Oh.
So I'm just making him 강아지 국밥. With the 사료 and with his food and the water.
Really?
Yeah, she's a 토종개. So I had to give him 국밥. He's just a real Korean dog. And I just...
He doesn't look Korean.
But, yeah.
That is so interesting.
It's so weird. I've been struggling to get him to eat. Like, I'd have to force him to eat. Like, Simba, come eat, come eat. Now, I put water on it.
And he's like...
Yeah. 국밥. Yeah.
That is
really
the funniest story.
So-
If you for sharing.
So, if anyone-
if your dog doesn't eat, check and see. Maybe
Yeah.
they want 국밥.
Yeah, maybe they what, yeah. It's
Okay.
just his regular food with water in it, but he loves it so much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. Speaking of like family, because Simba is family.
Yes, he is.
Our Tuesday is our travel day.
Yes.
And so going home for the holidays, I have a close-knit family. Okay. Now, if you have a close and then hyphen knit, K-N-I-T, family,
Yes.
what does this mean?
It means that the family has a really close relationship. So we'll talk about it a little bit later. But this knit is like a knit cap or the knit
Sweater.
that you can buy at the store. And it would be like it's something very tightly knitted.
Right. Okay. All right. Beat around the bush.
You don't answer a question
Yeah.
directly or you don't ask a question directly.
Yeah.
You kind of walk around the question.
Yes.
Just kind of very vaguely try to hint at what you really want to say.
Okay. So, and finally, what is someone getting at? So what are you getting at? Or what is he getting at?
Yeah.
What does this mean?
What are you suggesting? What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
Is another way of saying this question.
All right, let's go ahead and listen to our dialogue.
Greta, do you have a minute? I need to talk to you about my vacation.
Sure, Peyton. What can I do for you?
Well, I have a pretty close-knit family, and last year was the first time I didn't go home for the holidays.
Don't beat around the bush. What are you getting at?
I want to take my vacation at the end of the month.
If I say yes, you'll need to work overtime over the next few weeks without any grumbling.
All right, here we go. Peyton says, Greta, do you have a minute? I need to talk to you about my vacation. I really like this expression. Do you have a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, instead of like, can we talk? Can
Yes.
I talk to you? It's kind of a more casual, softer way of saying like, I need to speak with you.
Yes.
But when you say I need to speak with you, it sounds too serious.
Yeah.
I need to speak with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, do you have a minute?
Yes.
Do you have a few seconds? Yeah.
I think it's good if you're using, do you have a minute? Do you have a second? Do you have a few seconds?
Yeah.
It's better than saying, do you have time?
Yes.
Because if you say, do you have
talk.
time?
Yeah, do you have time?
Do you have time to talk?
시간이 있어요?
I was like, gosh, do I need like an hour?
Yeah.
Like if it's an important talk, you might say, do you have time to talk?
Right. Do you have time to talk? Yes, that's
It's
right.
like, oh gosh, let me look at my schedule.
I need 30 minutes.
I'll free up my lunchtime.
Right.
But if you say, do you have a minute? Do you have a second?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. Just
It's quick.
ask me a question.
All right. Very good. And Greta says, sure, Peyton. What can I do for you?
Peyton says, well, I have a pretty close-knit family, and last year was the first time I didn't go home for the holidays.
Okay. So Peyton is in the office
Yeah.
and says he wants to talk about his vacation.
Yes.
And he explains, as you can see, he doesn't say, I need to go on a vacation. I need vacation.
Yeah.
He kind of begins by saying, well, I have a close-knit family.
Yeah.
Right? This is how he begins. And this is a conversation tool.
Yes.
What is a close-knit family again?
A close-knit family is a family that they have a good, close relationship with each other. You might also hear tight-knit family as well.
Yes.
It's a very, very close, almost the same meaning. I would say close-knit family is more on we have just a close relationship. We talk to each other all the time.
Yeah.
A tight-knit family might mean, I will never betray my family.
Yes.
Like, that is more the feeling of tight-knit family, if you were to make a very small difference.
Okay. All right. So if you have a close-knit family, you're all very close, very tight with
Yeah.
each other. Another way of saying close. Okay. So what happened is last year,
Yes.
he didn't go home for the holidays. Okay. So it seems that he might want to go this year.
Right. Then Greta says, don't beat around the bush. What are you getting at?
Okay. So Peyton is like, well, so far he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And that's why Greta says, don't beat around the bush.
Yeah.
What does this mean, beat around the bush?
To beat around the bush is to not say exactly what you want to say. Either a question that you have, a request that you have, or not answering directly, but kind of like 돌려서 말하는 거잖아요.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you say don't beat around the bush, you're saying, hey, say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Talk to me, like, just tell me. Be straightforward
Yes.
with me.
Yes.
Don't hint.
Right.
Just say it.
Yeah, just say it. Okay. What are you getting at? Now, this is very kind of, it's like, just say it.
Yeah.
And then this is similar. What are you getting at? What does
Yeah.
this mean?
So what are you getting at means what are you trying to say? You're not saying to me directly. So what are you trying to tell me? What hints are you giving me? What are you kind of insinuating? Which kind of means like, what are you saying but not saying? If that
Yes.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes we don't use the exact words. We try to give a hint.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is when you're saying, hey,
Yeah.
what are you getting at?
Yeah.
What are you suggesting?
Mm-hmm. It's a little direct.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you getting at?
What are you getting at?
And Peyton says, I want to take my vacation at the end of the month. And Greta says, if I say yes, you'll need to work overtime over the next few weeks without any grumbling. So it seems that Greta and Peyton actually have a pretty, how shall I say, I don't know how close they are, but by the way they're speaking, it's kind of fun. Like, they're comfortable with each other.
I hope it's one of two things.
Okay.
Either they have a good enough relationship that they can kind of joke with it.
Yes.
Or Greta's just a really strict boss.
I know. You need to work overtime. Don't complain. Yeah.
Gosh.
I don't know. Okay, so you'll need to is our power pattern.
Mm-hmm. So this is good to know that it's not you need to, but you'll need to. You will need to.
Okay.
So it's kind of in the future, but it's actually more of like a conditional. Because we said, if I say yes. So it's like, I haven't said yes yet.
Yes.
But if I do, you will need to.
Yes.
So you use this you'll part when you're talking about something that you'll have to do in the future or as like something that you are imagining. It isn't real yet.
Okay. All right. And working overtime just basically means that you are working after the working hours, normal working hours.
Right. So in Korean, you have the word yagen, but yagen means literally working at night.
Yes.
So overtime is just the choga kunmu, right?
Yeah.
So if you work the nighttime shift usually, and then you have to work until the morning, it would be overtime.
Okay.
Right. It could still be overtime.
Okay. So let's go ahead and listen to this one more time.
Greta, do you have a minute? I need to talk to you about my vacation.
Sure, Peyton. What can I do for you?
Well, I have a pretty close-knit family, and last year was the first time I didn't go home for the holidays.
Don't beat around the bush. What are you getting at?
I want to take my vacation at the end of the month.
If I say yes, you'll need to work overtime over the next few weeks without any grumbling.
It's time for Power Note. Let's do a quick review. A close-knit family is a family that's very close. They're they have a very strong family bond.
Yes.
Your sisters really love you, Mickey.
Yeah, we have a real close-knit family, and I'm the youngest.
Okay. Even though I have 6 siblings, we have a very close-knit family.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this close-knit, if you think of like a sweater, some sweaters have big holes, and some sweaters have small holes.
Right.
Right? What is the word? Is it or core? Is the word for the loop in the knitting?
Right.
Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. It's if you have close knit, those holes are really small.
Right.
And so it's like you can't pull them apart.
Right.
They know each other so well.
Right.
The family.
Yes, that's right. And we were just commenting, I don't have any brothers or sisters. I'm an only child. I can't, and I don't think you would say with your parents, like, we have a close-knit family. If it's like a single mom, like, it's just not enough people.
It does feel like...
Doesn't it? A little bit?
It's at least 3.
At least 3.
It's at least a mom, a dad and a child. Or a mom and 2 children.
2 children, right.
Or dad and 2 children.
Yeah, but if it's just 2, it feels like a little. Yeah.
You may hear it.
Yeah.
But it does feel like you need more than 2 people for this
I feel
expression
that way
to work.
too.
Yeah.
Right. So I've never used this expression like, oh, we have a close-knit family. I mean, we have just such a small family.
Yeah. I mean, I have my mom, my dad, my sister, and me.
Yeah.
I don't think we're that close-knit, to be honest.
Okay.
We're very independent.
Okay. I understand.
So,
yeah.
Not every family is close-knit.
No, not at all. In fact, I know a lot of people who have siblings and they're enemies.
Yeah. Well, okay, there is a distinction here. So close-knit obviously does mean that they are close and they have a good relationship. That doesn't mean that the opposite is a bad relationship. You might still have a good relationship with your parents, but if you don't feel close, like you could have a friendly relationship with your parents or your siblings, but if you're not going to them for like every problem that you have and seeing them multiple times a year or like, you know, talking to them on the phone all the time, even if the relationship is good, if you aren't meeting them and talking to them a lot, you still might not consider it a close-knit family.
Okay, very good. All right. So think about your family. Do you have a close-knit family or just a regular, you know, like regular family? Yeah. Okay, beat around the bush.
To beat around the bush is to avoid answering a question or to avoid asking a question. Often because it's really uncomfortable.
Yes. Okay. It's not that you aren't qualified. We just think you might not fit in here.
Please don't beat around the bush. Just tell me why you won't hire me.
Yeah, that's right. Just be direct.
Be direct.
I don't like to beat around the bush, so I'll just say it. You're fired.
Ah, yeah. You often hear this expression whenever you're referring to politicians. Politicians love to beat around the bush.
Sure.
If they have a question, if someone asks them a question, they don't like to give direct answers.
Right.
Because, you know, that makes people angry sometimes.
Right.
Or they voted on something that a lot of people don't like.
Right.
And they don't want to remind people of it. So they beat around the bush.
Right.
They don't talk directly, straightforward.
I find that sometimes in Korea, culturally, it's not good to speak directly. And so people tend to kind of beat around the bush.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's just a cultural thing.
Right.
And sometimes I have no nunchi. I don't know if that's what exactly it is that they're saying and wanting. So sometimes even after all these years, I sometimes have kind of a disconnect. So
I mean, I think there is that stereotype that Americans are more straightforward and direct in their speaking.
Yeah.
But there are some times
it's
that
not
we
true.
beat around the bush.
Sure.
We don't say what we mean.
Right. Okay. So our next expression, what is someone getting at? So basically, what are you getting at?
Yeah.
Means, what are you suggesting? What are you saying?
What are you suggesting? What are you saying? What's the conclusion to the story? Just tell me what you want to say.
All right. I heard that Melanie thinks the new guy is really cute.
What are you getting at? Melanie and I have been dating for 3 years. You saying Melanie's going to cheat on me?
Oh.
Melanie's going to break up with me?
Okay.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah. What are you getting at when you mention my business interests?
I just think that you need to think more about it.
What do you mean? What are you getting at? What are you trying to say?
I don't think your business ideas are that good.
What? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's when someone is talking and you kind of want them to just come out and speak.
Just say it.
Truthfully.
Yeah. You know, some people, before they say something, there's that really long explanation.
Sure.
I'm really bad about this.
Okay.
I will start from the day I'm born to explain my entire situation before I order food at a restaurant.
Right.
But, like, I'm really bad about giving too much explanation.
Yes.
So sometimes people will be like, what are you getting at? I don't need the explanation. I don't need the extra information. Just tell me what you want to say.
Me too. I don't have time for all of that beating around the bush and not getting to your point.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like falling asleep.
It's so true.
Oh, okay. You'll need to is our power pattern.
You'll need to means this is something you'll have to do in the future. 100% have to do.
Okay.
Or it's kind of like imagining a situation.
Okay. You'll need to take off your shoes before you come in.
So it will happen in the future.
Okay.
You'll need to fill out this form first. Again, this is in the future. In our dialogue, it was more of like a what we call a hypothetical, a possible situation that might happen.
And our power vocabulary is overtime. Do check out the definition on page 30. Let's thank our sponsor.
한국토익위원회에서 취업과 승진을 위한 토익 스피킹